Being a lifelong Mercedes fan, I of course have a lot of Mercedes fan friends, and I've got this fellow dealer buddy named Nick from Lovsky Autos, and him and I share our love for Mercedes of all sorts, old, new, whichever, so forth. We both have our gold keychains. We're both car dealers, so we both have this kryptonite access to car auctions, dealer-only auctions. Usually, and of course, at the most inconvenient time of a workday, Nick will call me. Hey Cam, I found this. And this time was no different. He says, hey Cameron, I'm going to send you this, and we need to buy this. And I'm like, well, you know. And as that happens, the picture comes through, and it is a 220 generation, probably one of my favorite generation of S-Class. It is the first Mercedes I fell in love with as an 8-year-old when they came out. It was a limo, not a Pullman. I come to find out it was not a factory build, but like a limo company build, which, we didn't care. We were like, we have to get this car. So I decide with Nick, I'm like, yeah, we got to get it. And he starts bidding on it, and he starts negotiating with the seller and sending me screenshots. And I think they started at, $9,000, and he kept going back and forth. It was a whole list of like going back and forth like $50 at a time. And I'm glad he did this and not me. They ended up at like $5,500, something like that. He says, all right, Cam, we're in. And I'm, all right, where's this car? He says, Jersey. And I said, well, that sounds about spot on. So we all book flights to Jersey. We take our film guy, Marco, and, we're going to make a whole trip out of it. He brings his guy, Caleb, along. And so all of us guys pack up our book bags, and we take this one-way flight to New Jersey. And I don't know if any of you have been to New Jersey Airport, but not the most fun place to go. It's under a bunch of construction and everything around it. And it's cold. And it was raining, really just an unpleasant day. We find an Uber, and I think the car is like 45 minutes from the airport. Nick gets this Uber, which I'll never let him do this again. But it's this tiny little Toyota Corolla with this old guy driving it. And it's, 4 full-size guys in it. A couple of us have a few extra pounds on us. But so we're all just shoulder to shoulder in this little Corolla with this older guy driving like a 50 and a 65 on the freeway, and probably the only guy I know that turns on a straight road. So he's constantly making adjustments and moving on, off the throttle, on the brakes. I'm not a good car passenger. I get car sick. All the rest of the guys are having a good time, and I'm getting so sick at my stomach. I'm like, man, this trip is not off to a good start. And I have to like crack the window open. I'm like breathing out the window and getting hit in the face by rain. It was just not a fun experience. And like he didn't even have the air conditioning on. So like all the windows are fogging up, and it was just super uncomfortable place to be. We suffer through the 45 minutes, get to where this car is located. It's this car dealer in the middle of somewhere, and we don't even see the car. It's off to the street down the road. Of course, this is mentioned sitting on the ground, and typical S-Class of that era stuff. And again, still rain, freezing, windy, cold. We're all shivering, cameraman's doing this, and we're trying to make a video out of this and have a good time. And car, of course, is dead. And we have to like go ask, well, do you have a jump box? No. Do you have a jump box? No. But finally we find a jump box and get this thing running, and lights are kind of flickering. It's coming to life, and we're trying to figure out the heat, which was not really participating. Look at the tires, and like generally this thing is it's a little rough, which we kind of knew. And it smelled like an ashtray or like a cheap motel. But we're like, what? We're here. We don't have a way back. This is what we're doing. We are driving this thing back. So we all hop in the car, and it had a flat tire too. But we're like, we'll just find a gas station. That's normal, right? We'll just find somewhere to put air in the tire. Because this car dealership that had probably 30 cars on it didn't have a jump box, didn't have anything pump up tire. We're like, we didn't know what was going on there. But we start driving, and we get to the gas station, and we air up the tires, and we're looking around it more. And, okay, it runs good. It's a 113 motor. So all's good there. At the gas station, we get off going, after we do the, my buddy did the Slav squat next to the car, and, his tracksuit, and he did the proper things. And we took some pictures, and off we go. And immediately we can feel these tires are properly bad. So the car is shaking all over the place. You can't go more than 50 miles an hour. We're starting to mash all the buttons, playing, trying to see the thing, get the partition going, and, that's the first thing you do when you buy a new car, right? Not long after that, I think we had just plugged in a phone, and like Nick had found like an inverter or something in the passenger floorboard and started messing with that. And moments. It was smoke, electrical, something was meaningfully on fire. So we immediately have to pull over, and we're searching around. We turn the car off, and we're like, something's on fire, and we're, like maybe trying to catch the rain and like We didn't know what to do. We're like, we just bought this thing. We've gone like 5 miles and we're about to burn it to the ground. We waited a minute and turned the thing off that he had turned on. And, whatever you do, don't touch that button. And everything just kind of seemed to clear up. We were like, okay. So what do? Is you just continue on and act like nothing happened. Continue driving along. And of course, it's shaking along. But I guess I'm more of a daredevil than Nick. I just start increasing the speed a little bit here and there and just, seeing what happens. And, it's just, shaking like up to 80 miles an hour. The whole thing is shaking. We got guys in the back, and our cameraman, he gets car sick. So, of course, my goal is to make him car sick. So we're zooming through, and I just start speeding up. I'm like, 85 and up, it's pretty smooth. So I'm like, that's the answer. Go faster. So we start zooming, and we get to this place. My buddy's background is Uzbekistan. So he's like, I'm going to take you to some real Uzbek food. So we take this miserable detour, of course, because it's New York and there's traffic everywhere. And like the first one he wanted to go to was closed. So we had to route like another hour to go a mile, and find anywhere to park this limo. Like I was getting a little frustrated at that point. I'm like, Nick, what are we doing? But we got to the place we need to go, and we had a great dinner, had a great time. I don't know if you've ever had Uzbek food, but it's a lot of like meats and very like greasy, dense meats. So all of us have the meat sweats, and we get back in this car, and we actually picked up another car along the way, an S65 AMG. So even though Nick talked me into this limo experience, he quickly jumped out to go ride in this really nice S65 while we got to ride in this clapped out limo. We get back on the road, and we're zooming along, and everything's going just fine. And eventually I'm just like, what? How fast will said limo go? So I just mat it, and we get up to some proper speeds that I thought it would have the regular US speed limiter. It did not. And the limo moves pretty good. And the extra wheelbase makes it really sturdy at high speeds. So that got me thinking. I'm like, we could have some real fun with this. But we get back to Georgia without any other fuss. It was a great trip. We had a great time. We switched cars at one point. Of course, his car did get to brake, which the limo did not fully brake. But his car did lose an underhandle at speeds that we won't mention. It just left the chat. He had to stop on the side of the road and like try to piece it back together. And we both get back, and we're trying to decide what to do with this limo. He's got nowhere to put it, so of course it comes to live at the shop. It just becomes the weekly lunch ride. So we'll pile the whole shop in it. We're having a great time with it. Nick came and picked it up a couple times and like took his family out in it. We're just trying to think, how many things can we do with said limo? Came up with the idea, we need to take this thing on the racetrack. And so I've got this buddy Rick that is part of this track day club and so forth. And he says, yeah, you should definitely bring this out on the track. And so we set up this day that we were going to take it out on Road Atlanta. It was early morning on like a Wednesday, one of the quieter track days. And of course, again, it was like wet and raining and cold. He's like, I think I can fit you in, at this point on the track. And we're trying to make it work. And I didn't come prepared. I was like, I don't know what you need to drive a limo on a racetrack. It did have to go through all the normal stuff, and we had to get some like painter's tape and put a number on the side of it. And I had to wear a helmet. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a car with a partition, but a partition with a helmet, you have no space. And we had to come up with a chase car. We just had to use my cameraman's car. And he's got this little Honda Civic, and we're like, this will be fine. I'm not gonna treat the limo too bad on the racetrack. So we go out. We're going around. I'm like, man, this thing does all right. It still has the adaptive suspension, so I put it in the stiffest mode it can go into. And, I'm hustling this. I'm in it. And I'm hustling this thing around the racetrack. And, he's behind me. And we're like talking on the phone, trying to tell each other, here's how to get the good shot. And if you've ever done cinematic racing, it is not very exciting. You kind of have to go slow and let them get the shot. I noticed, and I'm like, every little bit I'm getting away from the camera car, and I have to keep letting out to let camera car, and I'm like, they're just getting the shot, they're doing whatever, and I'm just trying to make it work. We go around for a few laps, and a couple laps in, I noticed that anytime I put my foot fully to the floor, it had a bad accelerator pedal, and what that does is just cuts the throttle completely. So you have to shut the car off and do a key cycle, keep your foot like 90% on the throttle, and then everything was fine. And we get our couple laps and everything's good. We all pull up and get out of the limo, and Rick comes out, and he's a track driver, has a lot of track time, and he gets out of the Civic. He's like, I could not catch you. And I'm like, what do you mean? He says that Civic could not keep up with you. This whatever 1,000-pound limo with, not the small IST V8. It wasn't a 430. It was the 500. So 302 horsepower, but, 5,000, 6,000 pounds, whatever it was. But yeah, apparently it can outrun a Civic on a racetrack. Kind of ran out of things to do with it after that. You know, we took it on lunch runs a couple more times. It leaked water profusely, and like the Bondo was starting to split and so forth. But it sat around for a while, and our mutual buddy Tim Fabrizio came into town for the birthday rally. He said, "What is that?" And I said, "Oh, that's the Mercedes limo." And he says, "I have to have it." So I call up Nick and I said, "Well, I guess it's time to say goodbye to the limo." And we agree on a price. And Tim takes off in the limo, and he goes on to take it to the whole next level. He's got stickers all over it and bullhorns and stuff. And you'll have to check out some of his videos for that. But the limo lived a very full life.
The Ticket Clinic just launched a brand new podcast, so click the bubble on your screen or the link in the description to subscribe now and get all of Mark Gold's great expertise. And of course, the Ticket Clinic is still here to fight a ticket no matter where you get one. So check them out now to thank them for their support of VINwiki and fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.